so today I want to talk to you about getting your life back on track when you're feeling off track. Or maybe you don't even know if you're on track or off track, so how to figure that out. And it actually is pretty simple. Basically, if you're happy, you're on track. If you're unhappy, you're off track. So the more unhappy you are, the more off track you are with your life. But that doesn't mean that you can't get back on track. So if you think about your life as a whole and the times that you felt the worst, those were times that you've been off track. And sometimes things happen in our environment and our circumstance that we can't control, and it makes us unhappy. But what happens is a domino effect starts, right? So maybe something awful happened, like somebody passed away, or maybe a boyfriend broke up with you, or maybe a boss fired you, or whatever. And that's very unfortunate. But then what happens is you make choices after that that make it even worse, right? Because you're trying to get your way back to happiness, but you're going for easy outlets, instant satisfaction, alcohol, drugs, food, right? So anytime that you're off track, if you can think back to the worst memories or the worst times in your life, think back to the things that you were doing, the people that you were around, and the environments you were in. Those are the three things that really establish where you're kind of at on your path in life. And you can even chalk that up in your food choices, right? So think about how many times have you sat in bed eating chips thinking, I shouldn't be eating these. I shouldn't be eating these. I feel guilty. I feel guilty about eating these. I'm gonna feel sick. And then you feel sick and you feel guilty after. And the reason for that is because you're off track. And also, you're not following your gut instinct. That little voice in the back of your head, that's your gut instinct and your intuition. And it happens too. So let's say you wake up in the morning and you hit the snooze button and you think to yourself, oh, I should get up and go to the gym. But you don't. Instead, you hit the snooze button again. You're going against your gut instinct that's telling you, get up, get your ass out of bed, get to the gym. You know it's going to make you feel good, because the universe actually wants you to feel good. You're brought into this world, onto this earth, as a baby and a child in its purest form. Think about children and how happy and content they are with almost nothing. What does a kid need to be happy? They just need food, and healthy food, right? Think about kids on sugar. They are not happy, they're crazy. Healthy food, love and attention. So that's again, the people that you're surrounded by. They need to be outside. So again, the environment. It all comes down to those three things. And the other thing about kids is they always act off instinct, and they always follow their gut every single time. And what happens is we start off like that, but as we get older, we learn how to judge ourselves, and things happen to us that make us judge ourselves and also question our abilities. So thinking about that 3-year-old or 2-year-old or 1-year-old who's like learning to walk, they fall down literally 100 times a day. Not one time do you hear them say, I quit walking. But that's what we do as we get older. We learn how to give up on ourselves. So thinking about how many times you've tried to lose weight. You've tried it 100 times and then you're just like, no, I quit. Whatever, I can't do it. Again, you're going against your gut instinct. So in a nutshell, you want to think about the people that you're around when you're the happiest, the environment you're in when you're the happiest, and what you're doing when you're the happiest. And the people who are in the Lose Weight Find Balance program, we're going to be going a lot deeper into this. So let's start by the people that you're around, because that can really, really affect you. And you'll notice when you walk away from someone how you feel. Think about how you feel when you're walking away from your boss, from a coworker, from a girlfriend, from a spouse. And how do you feel in general most of the time when you walk away from these people? Do you feel uplifted and recharged, or do you feel drained? Right? So assess the relationships in your life. And basically you've got to think about where you want to be in your life. How do you want to feel in your life? And then when you're talking to somebody you have a relationship with and you're walking away, ask yourself, do I feel like this? So if you want to feel energetic and happy and sexy and at your best, when you walk away from this spouse or this girlfriend or a conversation with this person, do you feel like that? Do you feel like your best self after finishing a conversation with that person? And if you don't, then this sounds harsh, but sometimes you do have to just cut that person out or minimize association with it. Sometimes too, these people are relatives or people we really, really love, and they're trigger people, I like to call them. And so toxic relationships are a whole nother topic that I could go on with about forever. And I'm not going to get that deep into it, but basically, yes, in a nutshell, are these people making you feel better or are they making you feel worse? If they're a trigger person for you, you need to learn coping skills on how to do that. You need to prepare mentally when you're going into an atmosphere or a situation that you know will trigger you into a bad mood. You need to like amp yourself up for it. Just say, okay, I know I'm going to speak to this person. I know that I don't necessarily like talking to this person. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to say my piece, I'm going to have my conversation that I need to say, spend the time that I need to spend, and then I'm going to walk away. I'm going to take deep breaths and come back to myself, who I truly am, right? You cannot let people control your emotions, and we all do it. My 3-year-old controls my emotions. But the more self-control you have and the more self-awareness you have, the more you're able to cope in those situations. So the next thing, so there's the people that make you feel the best, and also what kinds of things make you feel the best. As in, what kinds of things are you doing when you feel the best? So for example, for me, it's running. Makes me feel really good. It's after a workout, after a shower, being outside, being near the water, traveling and on vacation. When else? Oh, when I'm also with my family. And I mean when it's all 4 of us, me, the boys, and Richard. So I know that those are my ultimate favorite things. I also really love spending time with my girlfriends. So I know that those are things that uplift me. Those are things that help bring me back to me when I'm feeling off track or I'm feeling stressed out. The next thing too is, what kind of things are you talking about when you feel the best? What kind of things make you light up? What kind of things are you talking about that bring you down? So gossiping, for example, brings you down, and you'll find it's contagious. You start talking about one person and that leads into a conversation about talking about another person, and that leads to talking about another person. If you catch yourself in that kind of drama circle or even around people who are doing that, just don't feed into it, right? Just change the topic or change how you're talking. Be aware of yourself and what's coming out of your mouth. Every single thing that comes out of your mouth affects your mood. Think about when you yell at your spouse. Think about when you yell at a friend, or when you yell at your mom, or when you yell at your kids. That automatically makes you feel crappy, right? So if you don't want to feel crappy about the things that you're saying and doing, you need to do the opposite. So when do you feel the best? For example, for me, I always feel the best when I'm talking about this kind of thing. When I'm talking about modeling, or when I'm talking about beauty, when I'm talking about health, or when I'm listening to people talk about those things. It doesn't have to be me talking about it, but those are the kind of conversations I love, because that's what inspires me. That's what makes me feel the best. And when I'm talking about things that I love and people are telling me about things they love, we're growing from each other and we're lifting each other up, right? So everything always comes down to doing what feels good. Coming back to intuition. What makes you happy is you. It's part of your purpose. It's part of your insides. It's what you're meant to do. All right. So in a nutshell, start thinking about the things that you want in your life. the kind of people that you want. Surround yourself with people who are amazing. I always try to say that being around a negative person is like walking into a room full of smoke. Even if you're not smoking, you're going to walk out of that room smelling like smoke. So it's the same thing about the people that you surround yourself. If you walk into a room of negative people, you're going to walk away with their negativity all over you. And it's up to you on how to clean it off yourself, or how to just avoid that room altogether.